Captain's Log number 664. Today, I saw Christopher Nolan's new extravaganza. Let's talk about that.
Lost in space, an alien race, trapped in orbit with no escape, watching films from Earth's display, passing time from day to day. Stuck in orbit, what can I do? A movie marathon will have to do. From drama to horror and comedy too, an alien cinema will break through.
So today I had a lot of time left over, about three and a half hours. I was like, you know what takes that long? Well, obviously it's a Christopher Nolan movie. Christopher Nolan has been making all kinds of epics lately, and this year his epic was Oppenheimer. And it's something that, I don't know, it's a name that we know, but we don't know much about, so, like, I guess he could do whatever he wants, and I don't even know if it's right or not. But who is Oppenheimer? Oppenheimer is the creator of the atomic bomb. That's kind of what he's known for, and that's what this movie is about. So, now we got that over with. Let's move on to the movie. So this movie does not have a linear timeline, or it moves all over the place. And so you really have to pay attention. And it's similar to Asteroid City. Remember when I said Asteroid City? It's a movie where you have to sit, and you have to watch and listen, and try to catch as many little tidbits as you can, because there's a lot of different meanings, interpretations, and everything that's going on, and also like different messages. And in order to catch it all, you really have to pay attention, and you might have to watch it a couple times as well. Now, the problem with this movie is it's so long. So like Asteroid City is like 90 minutes, so if I have to rewatch it, it's not a big deal. This movie is twice that long, and so if I have to rewatch it in order to like get the whole thing, then like that's a huge serious time commitment. But this movie is not a slog. Like, I watched this movie, it's a 3-hour long movie, and I didn't have to look at my watch once. I didn't have to like check to see what time it was or anything like that. Like, I was engaged the whole time. And so this movie is very entertaining in that way. Now, Christopher Nolan is known for his emphasis on realism. You know, we see that with other movies where he's like, I got to get it as real as possible. But one of the problems with that is sometimes realism is not as interesting as fantasy or as exaggeration or embellishment or whatever. And I think that's true with like an atomic bomb. And so he really tried to focus, what does a real atomic bomb look like and everything. And so the thing is, we've seen extreme versions of atomic bombs in movies in the past. And so when I watch a movie about an atomic bomb, I want the explosion to just be so enormously big and spectacular. But with this movie, because he wants to ground it in more reality, and especially because this is the very first atomic bomb, which is not that big. The explosion compared to modern day atomic bombs is not huge. I mean, it is for, like, it is a big bomb, but comparatively, it's a relatively small atomic blast. And it is shown in this movie as such. And so, I feel like there's a lot of build-up for kind of little pew, you know, respectively. But this movie kind of goes into, like, the inner workings of kind of the U.S. military and government and how they make decisions in times of crisis, such as in a war, when they need to develop a nuclear bomb. And also the aftermath of that as well. How does the government work? You know, after the crisis is over, how do we put things back together? And it kind of shows the politics involved with that as well. And that's really interesting to watch. Now, of course, this movie is just Oscar bait. You watch this movie and you're like, okay, yeah, it's probably going to be nominated for Best Picture, Best Actor, it's probably Best Supporting Actors and Actresses and all that stuff, Best Special Effects, Best Costume Design and everything. But I think one thing that might be overlooked, or it will be nominated for, but I think the audience might not have catched because it's so good, is the makeup. The makeup design is so good. It's probably some of the best aging and de-aging makeup there is. I didn't feel like any of it was CG. Like, I'm pretty sure It was all real, legit makeup applications, and it was all perfect. And I mean, if you look at like side by side of like the real people versus the actors in this movie, they look very similar, but they did a really good job of not hiding the actor. And so the actors look like themselves, but they also look like the real people. And that is not an easy thing to do. And so I think this movie will 100% win Best Makeup in the Academy Awards. But that's pretty much all I got to say about Oppenheimer. There's really, like, you just have to watch it and experience it. There's not much else to talk about with this movie. So I think this movie is probably like a 7.5, 8 out of 10. I enjoyed it. I don't know if I'll watch it again. I don't know, it's 3 hours, so, you know, as I said before, it's a huge time commitment. But I really liked it. Highly recommend everybody else go, especially if you're interested in that kind of history of the, 1940s history, a history of war and atomic bombs. It's really good biopic, kind of showing how life was back then and how politics was, and it's just a really good time capsule. But if you're really interested in kind of that time period and everything, like, it's a really good time capsule of that period of time, and I highly recommend checking it out. I feel like this is going to be one of those movies that's going to be shown in schools, in the classroom. I think it will fall into the classic category when it comes to classic cinema. I think decades from now, people will be referencing Oppenheimer as a classic cinema. That's me being kind of pretentious. Oh, yes, a classic cinema. But whatever. Anyways, highly recommend it. Go check it out. And with that, it's a Captain's Log out.